Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, March 24th, 2026. I, of course, am Hammer, founder of Hammer Solutions, home of great products such as Originator Success, Grab and Go Social, Rate Sensei. So be sure to check those out. Those are all great projects to help my mortgage friends get more business and stay busy in 2026, especially as we're dealing with all this fun stuff, pushing rates up that make it a little bit harder. Don't worry, there is business out there, though. Remember, you can join me live each and every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, broadcasting on Facebook and YouTube so that you could join me live. If you're here this morning, say good morning. If you're watching on the replay, do me a favor, give me hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you were here. If you would like to be joining me live, don't forget we send out a text alert to remind you, give you the link so you don't have to worry about missing a moment of the show. hmmr.io/reminder. You can sign up absolutely free or use this cool QR code here. Good morning, Mr. Zane. Good morning. Let's see. Ron Siegel, Debbie Richardson, Sean Segaloff, Holly Johnson, Nicole Semerad, Deb Dickinson, Tim Klyla, Matt Rasner. Ron said, no text yet. We have a lot of people on the text list. It just takes a minute after I hit the button, my friend. You should have it by now. Sean Segaloff, I could go for a good cheesesteak. That is random, but you're making me hungry, bro. So stop that. So anyway, remember also, I'm going to share my screen. If you would like some cool stuff, you can sign up for our free daily lock advice right here on your inbox each and every weekday morning. It's absolutely free. www.ratelockadvice.com. We give you a quick at a glance, recap what happened yesterday, the outlook for today, the outlook for the next 15 days, 15 to 30, 30 plus, quick technical snapshot on what's going on in the bond. So absolutely free, ratelockadvice.com. Also, you can get our text alerts, www.ratetextalerts.com. Let's go ahead and take a look at where we are, what texts were like yesterday. Yesterday was a busy, busy day, as you can see here. And let me put my pretty face. Let me go ahead and pull this over so you guys can see that. Ooh, sorry, cat hair in the nose. All right, taking a look here. Yesterday, we started the day. Look at this, start of the day. Things were not so terrible, right? Trump announces Saturday he's giving Iran 48 hours to open the Strait of Hormuz or was going to obliterate their power plants. It looked like today was going to be another really bad day for bonds. That was yesterday. However, early this morning, that was yesterday morning, Trump postponed attacks for 5 days, citing good and productive conversations, which Iran denies are happening, helping bonds to a relief rally instead. Stay alert for changes. Now, you'll notice we had reprice risk high on the day. At 10 a.m., we were up 24 basis points. Then, and by the way, this is a good recap of what happened yesterday. Then, not long after, we had in fact, here, let's see, what was it? It was 11:05, so about an hour after, I had to send an update. But bonds were doing well. Things were looking good. Bonds at the best levels of the day keep floating. The door is open for lenders to reprice better. Then 2 hours later, 2 whopping hours later, here we are sending an alert. Bonds had dropped back down to 17 basis points. So they were still up on the day, but quite a bit less here. Bonds well off best levels. Lenders may reprice worse, especially those who already repriced better. And then an hour and a half later, we were able to issue an update and say, hey, as promised, volatility today. Bonds back to a level where lenders should no longer be considering reprices. We were up 32 basis points. So it was a very chaotic day yesterday, a lot of ups and downs. When we ended the day, choppy day for bonds as traders tried to sort through the headlines, ultimately positive for pricing on a possible de-escalation in the Middle East. That's our big takeaway. I've said it before, we'll say it again. So Trump, he said, hey, this thing, it's just about over, right? We're done. And we got a rally. Well, then that went to the wayside. Now, I have to be more careful what I put in writing versus what I could say here. And I know that I've got my friends who are Trump supporters. And if you say anything against Trump, some people get really upset. But let's be real, right? I piss all over Biden. I piss all over Trump. I don't care who they are. Trump will embellish, exaggerate, and he'll throw stuff out there. He'll manipulate the markets. You can respect it, you could hate it, I don't care, but it's what he does. And the reality is that yesterday it looked like, oh, hey, there were signs of relief, but that relief rally today totally disappearing. So it's important you recognize that. Now, until there's a clear path to resolution, we can't expect rates to move down much from here. Even so, loans closing soon should remain cautious, and that's our big thing. So our big takeaway here. So looking over at the actual bonds and where we were at and all that good stuff, let me go ahead and get rid of this. Okay, put my captions up. So quick recap of what happened yesterday. Let me go ahead and pull this over. Let's get rid of this. Let's move this over. See, why did it expand? Come on, stay there. Okay, so taking a look here, and let me bring this up a little bit so you guys can see it better. All right, so you can see those alerts yesterday that they kind of corresponded with what we saw here, right? So we were up. Then here it was the great level. Then we dropped back down. Then they were back up. And then they ended the day about the same as when pricing came out. And that's what we kind of saw yesterday. But this morning, you could see mortgage bonds are losing a lot of ground. You see that here. In fact, let's switch that to red because it's a terrible red. So this morning, there is nothing but bad this morning. Mortgage-backed securities are down way below where they were yesterday when pricing came out. Already given back all yesterday's gains. We were up, if we remember, we were up, what did this say here? We were up 32 basis points on the day, and we are currently down. So we didn't give back all. It's gone back a little bit. We're giving back almost all. We got a little blip up right here. So, but basically, it washed out all of yesterday. 10-year Treasury yield 4.41. I'm circling this in red. It's 4.40, but we round it with the 5. 4.41. This is the highest we've seen since I think last July, and it's likely to continue to get higher. This is a bad omen, y'all. Look at this. Look at what we have done during this whole Iran conflict. So the reality is rates are going to continue to move worse. Throwing the lock advice down at the bottom. We tried to cautiously float and give it a chance for things to recover. You could see here yesterday, there was a little bit of recovery from 6.53 on Friday. We opened at 6.49 yesterday. We could argue a little bit of pricing recovery. However, that's now washed back out. It's gone. We were at 599. This is the last day we see it. February 24th. Where were you on February 24th, right? 599. Since then, at the beginning of this, when markets were waiting to see, hey, how long is this thing going to play out? Is this, we go in, we have some military action, we blow some stuff up, and, Iran caves and we get back to business. And, traders were kind of patient at the beginning. We're waiting to see how things kind of played out. That changed right around here, right? That changed right around the 11th. We saw things go from that 6.09, 14, 13, and then boom, 6.25, 6 3/8, 6.5. And I think we have a very good shot of seeing 7. I do. I think that if things continue this way, we're going to see rates that we have not seen. We're currently here, but I think we're going to be back to here. I think there's a good chance you're going to see rates in the 7s as this continues. We're on the 25th day. Markets are starting to lose any kind of expectation that Trump is actually going to follow through on what he says. When you start looking at the articles and everything we've got here and where we're at, you see kind of where things go. Allison was just arriving in Antarctica. I saw your picture, by the way, jumping off the ship. That was cool. I don't know that I would do it because I am a wuss and I don't like cold water, but Trump, it is what it is. Like it or not, he moves the market. Yeah, he definitely does. And most of the time right now, I don't like it. I liked it when he said he was going to buy $200 billion in mortgage-backed securities and rates got better. I like that. It's a lot easier. It makes me look good. This doesn't make me look good. Tammy, the constant placating of his supporters is exhausting. It is, but I have to put it out there. So, because people tend, if I say that, they do listen. But you're right. There are people that are just anything he does. Some people, Doesn't matter if he really did come out with the cure for cancer, they'd find a reason to hate him for it. Other people, anything he does, even if it's bad, they can justify any behavior. We have very, very cognitive dissonance and confirmation bias and all that stuff is a real thing. So anyway, as we got on here, Randy said, locked loans late yesterday. Glad I did. Good idea, Randy. And I'm glad you did too. We were hoping to see if there was a continuation this morning. But again, this is the reality. And whether people want to buy into it or not, right? Trump, he embellishes, he lies, and he exaggerates. So you can put whatever degree, embellishment, exaggeration, lying. He does all of those. Who knows who's lying here? Now, ideally, we'd love to say our president is telling the truth, but I kind of lean towards the fact that Iran is not looking for any kind of conversation yet. Despite Trump saying he had good conversations, I think what happened is over the weekend, as he does this stuff over the weekends. Over the weekend, he came out and said, if Iran does not open the Strait of Hormuz, then I'm going to, rain hellfire on them. We're going to obliterate their power plants. Now, again, I do not understand what we consider modern warfare, where some things are out of bounds and some things are okay. I don't want to get too deep into my own psyche, but if we ever have a battle, there is no off limits. I am much more Sopranos than politician, right? We're going there. But yet, could be an act. This could be a violation of war etiquette if we go after civilian infrastructure. And I think a lot of the Middle Eastern countries were reaching out to Trump, pushing against him doing this because they recognize that it would have a longer term effect on delivery. Now, the longer this thing goes on, rates move higher, and when rates move lower, they won't move lower as quickly until what's going to happen is we're going to hit a tipping point where this could put the United States and the global economy into a true recession. We're nowhere near there yet. Nowhere near there. But who knows how long this will happen, right? So you've got energy expenses, energy crisis. You've got other bottlenecks. It affects everything. As much as we say core inflation because we take out the price of gas, well, you know what's going to happen soon? Fuel surcharges. If they're not there already, they're going to be there. You're going to start seeing all that. You're going to have delivery costs go up. You're going to have expenses for getting goods into the country. It's similar to a tariff expense where, now it's fuel and getting things here. It's harder to get things here. There's less things of here. All of this stuff is inflationary. So this is going to drive up expenses. If it slows the economy down, we will see Trump get his way when Warsh eventually gets into the Fed, and they'll be able to start cutting rates because they'll need to cut rates to stimulate the economy. In the meantime, though, looking at Fed futures, markets are expecting no chance of a Fed rate cut anytime this year. I mean, it's 7% is the outlier there. More likely, look at this; it's almost 0.25% that we'll see a rate hike. This year. So that's what markets are betting on. And that'll change again as the economy really starts to get some signs of weakness. Derek said, damned if he does, damned if he doesn't. Not something most can handle. Oh, sorry, Derek. You're a little too hero worship on this one for me. He brings it upon himself and has brought it upon himself. He has made himself that divisive. So I give him no sympathy for that one. Tim Klyla says Iran's been getting ready for this for 40 years. Yeah, and they're fighting a war. They're playing checkers, and they're playing chess, not checkers. They know that they have an upper hand as it controls the flow of everything through that area. It is a big deal. So know the ADU's cruise orders have been extended through end of June, a 10-month deployment. Yeah, so I'm sure we're going to see more of that. And I think what happens is once we see boots on the ground, and I think we will. I think we're going to see boots on the ground. Once we see boots on the ground, this is going to escalate even further. And then I think we're going to see rates move to that next level. That's when I think rates are going to move up to 7. That could change. Anything could change. This is Trump at the helm, right? The dude he has no qualms of just swinging back and forth and back and forth. Hopefully something, happens and we get a resolution and I end up being wrong here. But the current vibe, what I'm seeing, what I'm reading, Ron, what about you? What are you seeing and reading for a vibe? What do you get on that? Ron says the Senate will have the DHS funding done in time for them all to go home before Easter. We know political motivation. Well, the DHS funding, if you talk about the TSA agents and all that stuff, hopefully, because that's a train wreck. Ron, here you go. You're missing the underlying motivation. So I'll be cleared by late June, early July. The only thing that motivates all politicians, re-elections. Geopolitics drive it all. Yeah. But even again, this is only March. If this is wrapped up and it takes until June, we're going to see rates go much higher. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Sean said the yo-yo the markets doesn't help any of us. No, it really doesn't. Derek, I agree. Most people do. Yeah. So anyway, all right, my friends. Well, we're at 16 minutes. I think I've kind of said everything I need to say. I think we've got it all dialed in as far as the, where we're at here. Ron, did you tell us what today's day is? I haven't seen it yet. I would go for a cocktail. Here we go. National Cocktail Day. It's 5:00 somewhere. For those who do not indulge, we should celebrate National Cheesecake Day. I missed that. That's why Segalov was talking about cheesecakes. I thought it was random. Okay, I got you. Chocolate covered raisin day, raisinettes. I'm all right with that. Jeremy, this is torture. Which part is torture, Jeremy? Me talking? Hello, Mr. Allen. Just curious, is the market torture? Because I'll tell you, I agree with that part, man. In February, it looked like we were going to be in such a position to see rates improve. It looked like we were running into a beautiful, beautiful time. And then unfortunately, this really did throw a wrench in things. Whether it was necessary or not, I don't know. I hope that it was. I hope that we really do make a lasting change before we get out. And I hope that this doesn't lead, to another Afghanistan, Iraq situation where we find ourselves, just stuck in the mire of yet another Middle East country. But I do hope that we do get some change in there. Sean said, fair point. I could randomly want a cheesesteak at 9 a.m. You could, dude, but you want a bacon cheesesteak. So, Ron Siegel, only boots on the ground will only be to take control of Karg Island. The other Middle East countries will join in with the boots to be the boots on the ground, not us. I hope you're right. Now, there is talk of the other, according to headlines, there's talk of the other Middle East countries providing more support. So that could be something that does happen. Boots on the ground will cost the Republicans the midterm. No one wants that with our troops' lives at risk. If they think they can get out of it. And again, Trump, he's delusional. He'll convince himself that he's going to win regardless. Lots of countries coming in to join and taking control of the strait. Once the strait is open, we'll see oil drop like a rock. Yeah, hopefully that's the case. Now, hopefully there's not too much infrastructure damage in the meantime. Look at Qatar and like the liquid natural gas that they've got going on there and everything. So, all right. Well, I'm going to wrap it up again. Thank you for joining me. I know so many of you on here, 61 of you. I think I might, anyway, I'll announce it more later. So that's it, my friends. I hope you did find value today. I know I'm doing a lot of rambling. I hope it gives you some insight, though, into that rambling. And I tried to get all the heavy stuff out at the beginning so anybody that wanted to stick around could say, what about Yemen? Which part about Yemen? I'm missing the is there something in the headlines? I don't know. I missed that part. So, but anyway, I'm out of my zone. I'm going to wrap up. So thanks, my friends. I'll see you guys tomorrow, and we'll see if there's another wishy-washy, if I spin a different story, or where we go from there. So stay ready today. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.